Hello, I'm Will the Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about the Fae. The Fae are a short, humanoid species with insect-like wings. Their skin colors reflect the different elements: white for air, blue for water, green for the forest, and red for fire. They are also an exclusively female race, reproducing exclusively to the cycles of the moon. The green Fae of the forest reproduce the fastest because the forest moon cycles around the planet faster than the others. The red Fae of fire reproduce the slowest because the fire moon cycles around the planet the slowest. The Fae act as guardians of natural things and the natural order of things. They make their homes in the forests and they protect the forests adamantly. They are also commonly used throughout the Empire as farmers, as their magic makes farms grow faster. However, the Fae are few and far between, being an almost extinct race. Therefore, their services are very unique and highly sought after. They will often be seen following the construction of settlements by adding trees, bushes, and flowers to make it more attractive. Most Fae also stay far away from big cities and large groups of people, preferring instead to live in the more rural environments amongst the trees and plants, where they feel most at home. Their capital city, if you want to call it that, is known as Forest Heart. It's a giant forest where they make their homes. They live in the tops of the trees, where they fly from treetop to treetop, and they use the magic that they have to create Ents to protect the forest. Ents are fearsome automatons made from the trees themselves. As far as their role in the greater empire, they try and stay away from politics. The empire has policies in place in order to protect the forests and trees, and expand them as well. This was the initial treaty by which the Fae decided to join the elves, and to this day it is probably the only thing still keeping the Fae within the empire. They realized long ago that their dwindling numbers would not be able to protect the forests alone. So now I want to talk for a little bit about the history of the Fae, starting from the Age of Dragons. The origin of the Fae is a mystery, and even to this day nobody really knows where they came from. The only thing that is known is that they appeared in great numbers towards the end of the Age of Dragons. They were powerful spellcasters and the protectors of the forests and wild places. As such, they came into direct conflict with other species who intended to burn and use the forest for their own ends. This was mostly orcs, but they also came into direct conflict with humans and dwarves as well. The elves, however, had a very close relationship with them, as the elves were very fond of natural places as well. Thus, the elves would act as a mediator between the Fae and the other races. During the Age of the Orcs, the Fae played a very small role. They had formed a symbiotic relationship with the elves in that the elves would protect them and the Fae would grow food for them. In this way, the Fae forests were protected for a great period of time, all the way up until the First Age of the Empire, where an elven king decided to suggest the Empire's formation. At first, the Fae were reluctant, having hatred for those races that they were now supposed to ally with. However, the Elven King managed to convince the leader of the Fae that the only way to truly protect the forests was to be together. So the Fae reluctantly agreed. At this point, the Fae played a major role, producing all of the food for every race in the entire empire. Had it not been for the rapid production of food that the Fae could provide, it would never have been possible for the empire to get off its feet. From this point on, the Fae played a supporting role in the formation of the empire. Not only did they use their magic to help grow the crops of the empire, but they also used it to support the empire by healing and being magical support casters. Having frontline healers gave the empire a massive advantage over the orcs. However, this also made the Fae prime targets for orc attackers. Orcs would go out of their way to kill the Fae first, knowing that they would heal those who were injured by their attacks. This led to even more bad blood between the orcs and the Fae. The Fae diplomats were always the first to strike down anything that would give orcs rights beyond slavery. The Fae were always the first to also suggest the genocide of their entire species, claiming that there was no benefit to keeping them alive. It is suggested that the Fae hatred of the orcs is what kept their mistreatment going for so long, even when others cried out for their redemption. But the Fae were unyielding in the same way they were protective of their forests, and would not allow any sort of legislation to pass that would aid in the orcs' redemption. When legislation was brought up that would allow orcs to become full citizens, they threatened to leave the empire. Their racism and bigotry towards orcs continues into the modern era, and is what probably caused the rebellion in the first place. Or at least may have been a major factor in their rebellion. Needless to say, even in the modern day they play a supporting role in the Empire as powerful healers and mages. The Fae are also ardent followers of the primary religion of the Empire. However, they do not follow the one god of the Empire the same way the rest of the Empire does. They believe their god, the Life Mother, is the same god as the Empire's god. Thus the Fae are not seen as heretical, as their gods are one and the same. However, because of this, they do not take part in the major machinations of the Church. Instead, they choose to have festivals surrounding the lunar cycles which celebrate their goddess. During the Fae's respected lunar cycles, they can often get flirty with the other races. It is often suggested that the genetic material that they are acquiring during these periods is what determines the traits of their children. The child will still be a Fae, however their personality will reflect both of their parents. However, it is not common for the quote-unquote father of this child to take part in their life in any way. The Fae are also exclusively vegetarians, only eating berries and excess fruits. The Fae are also often very mischievous, pulling pranks on their enemies. It was said that a Fae once started a war by making an orc sound like he farted in front of all of his generals. Well, I can't think of anything else to talk about for the Fae right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end it here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm Will the Gamer, signing out.